Well, hello there, incoming sixth graders, class of 2027. I'm Mr. Arnold. I'm the middle school principal, and what we're going to do here today is a virtual tour of the 6 to 12 building, the parts that are the most important to you guys, what you'll be dealing with every day, in an attempt to replace the physical tour that you would have taken earlier this month. You will see at some point in this contact information for myself, Mrs. Rufer, who is our 6th through 8th grade guidance counselor, and Mrs. Whelan, who is the 6th through 8th grade secretary, the middle school office secretary. Feel free to email us anytime, you or your parents, and ask any kind of questions you want. If you want to know things directly from some of the teachers that you're going to meet later on, you can email us and we'll get you in contact with them. And feel free to do that between the time you see this video and the time school starts in the fall. We'll be glad to answer any questions. We know this is a strange time and we'd much rather have you in here in the building seeing it physically. So hopefully this virtual tour will help as much as possible. We're starting out in the middle school office. I'm going to give you a quick tour of that here in just a second, but here's some things if we were sitting together in the comments that I would make sure that I go over with you. Just some points of things that we would want you to know and to remember as we go into next year. First thing that we talk about is homerooms. You will be in homerooms next year in the 6th grade, but you will move around then separately after your first period class. So all that means is you won't go to every class with the same 24 or 25 kids all day long. Your math class will look a little different than your English class, will look a little different than your PE class, will look a little different than social studies class. But there will be homerooms that we start the day out in, and then those will dictate academic assist as well. Specials. Specials are different. At the 6th grade level, we do those in trimesters, which means there'll be 3 different sections of the year where you're involved in a special. Your specials are PE and health, music, and STEAM. And we'll get to those places, show you where those are. Those will be the things that at the beginning of the year, you probably have your teacher on your way to special, will probably walk you there the first couple times just so you know the ins and outs of getting to the places you need to get to. But then you'll eventually get real comfortable and figure that out on your own. When we go upstairs in the 6th grade hallway, we'll talk about lockers. You'll see how the lockers are situated with a locker above and a locker below. You'll get your lockers assigned by your homeroom or first period teacher. If we have a situation where we have a 6-foot tall 6th grader and a 4-foot tall 6th grader, and one of the 4-foot tall 6th grader got the top locker and the 6-foot tall 6th grader got the bottom, we'll always make those switches and make it more comfortable for everybody involved. And we'll talk about what we expect as far as utilizing lockers. Dress code wise, you can look at the student handbook. When you get your Chromebook, the student handbooks are loaded right on there and it talks about dress code. What we tell everyone, 6th grade through 12th grade, is we are in a nice, new, climate-controlled building. Whenever it needs to be cool, it will be cool. When it needs to be warm, it will be warm. We expect everybody to dress appropriately for that. If there are ever any issues with dress code, we'll talk about those, but it's not anything different than what you're used to, and all of those things can be found in the Student Code of Conduct. Something that you can expect, a couple things that are a little bit different at the 6th grade level. You will have homework. If not every night, most nights you'll have some homework to do. It's not going to be 3 or 4 grueling hours of sitting down and just crying yourself to sleep because it was so hard, but you will have some homework to do, and you need to expect that, and you will get letter grades. And the letter grades will be different than what you're used to at this point. And I don't know that it'll take a lot to get used to, but it will be different than what you've been accustomed to at this point. If there are any other things that don't come up either from this introduction or from the tour that we're about to take, again, use that contact information you got with the emails and make sure that you let myself or Mrs. Rufer or Mrs. Whelan know what kind of questions you have, and we will be happy to answer really all summer long leading up into the school year next year. We want you to feel as comfortable as possible. So while we're here, I'm in the middle school office, like I said before. This office is set up, and you can kind of get a look at the U shape, and then it'll go back towards our workroom. But our middle school side is set up pretty much identical to the high school side, little difference in the conference rooms. But when you enter the middle school office, you'll see you come right up to our main desk. This is where Mrs. Whelan will be. As I tell anyone who asks, if you ever have any kind of important question, you ever need anything taken care of, it's probably good to start with Mrs. Wieland. Mrs. Wieland knows all the answers, and that means from health to school to anything else. Mrs. Wieland's a great place to start. You can see kind of beyond her desk there where the clinic is marked. Our school nurse is in there. I think most of you probably know Mrs. Sainholtz and Mrs. Doley. Those guys have been back and forth through both buildings, so you're probably aware of both of them already. But the clinic is here. My office is right here around the corner. We have a couple of conference rooms. You may get involved in some meetings in the conference rooms from time to time. And then we have some other offices here. And Mr. Gleckler, another guidance counselor here. Mrs. Roofer's office, the guidance counselor that you will deal with the most, is right here. Mrs. Roofer's in there. She's going to help us out with the presentation at different times today. But she will be the one that you as sixth graders are going to deal with, if not every time, almost every time, if you have any kind of issues as far as counseling is concerned. And that's academic or social or whatever. Okay? So this time what we're going to do is kind of walk you through what your day is going to look like. The way our little tour is going to be set up is we'll talk about when you get here, talk about where you're going to go, talk about getting up to your classes, we'll talk about the lockers, we'll meet some teachers, we'll talk about your specials, then lunchtime, and the end of your day. So we're going to try to walk you through a virtual day in this tour of the building and hope that we can clear up as much confusion and anxiety as we can ahead of time. All right, for those of you that get dropped off in the morning by a parent, maybe a sibling, grandma, grandpa, anybody like that, you'll get dropped off right out in front of the middle school doors. Now, they could drop you off in front of the high school doors down the way, but it'll be a lot easier for you and probably clear up some confusion if you get dropped off in front of the middle school. Mr. Ely, who is one of our paraprofessionals, will be out here in the morning to kind of greet you. There'll be days that I'll be here on the sidewalk to greet you. But when you get dropped off, you'll come here and go right through our middle school doors, and you're going to head your way towards the Commons. All right, for those of you that are bussers, if you get dropped off by a bus and picked up by a bus in the afternoon, this is the part of the building where you will enter and exit every day. Once you go through the events doors right behind me, you'll head straight to the Commons. At the end of the day, more than likely, you're going to come down those big stairs and work your way right out here to the buses. I'll be here 99 out of 100 times, unless I'm not in the building for some reason in the afternoon, to help get you where you need to be. And all the buses will be parked out here. You're aware of that from your time in the elementary if you've been a busser the whole time. So when you get dropped off in the morning, right along the curbside, you'll get out, go through the event stores, and head to the Commons. All right, now in the morning when you get here, you've seen the drop-off out front, you've seen the bus drop-off. You will go directly to this area, to the Commons. And the Commons will have, we've got this arranged for summertime cleaning right now, but these tall tables are flat, round tables so we can get 8 people around. That's where you will sit in the morning, and then that's where you will eat in the afternoon. You'll always sit at these low, round tables. As you can see, we'll have lots of space. We're not sure what the fall is going to look like. I'm sure our setup might be a little bit different than what it's been in the past, but you don't get a great look at that anyway today. When you come in at lunchtime, well, even with breakfast in the morning, when you come in, you're going to enter our cafeteria. All right, enter with the food serving area. When you come in the morning and you come in at lunchtime, you'll be able to enter the food serving area. So if you look at it, it's not anything necessarily that's all that hard to figure out. Some differences here than what you saw or what you had available to you at the elementary are the middle section will be a salad bar area, and then around the corner here there'll be like our a la carte ice cream bars, things like that that are available to you as well. Those are some different things, but the number system, your lunch number system, is still the same as what you're used to at the elementary. Our menu is roughly the same. There are a few more options. You have the ability to order some things every day. If you don't like what we're having for lunch that you may not have had the ability to get your hands on at the elementary, which is nice. I would say one of the big positive changes that kids talk about when they come to the 6 to 12 building is options in the cafeteria. All right, this is our courtyard. During lunchtime, you'll have the opportunity, when the weather allows, to come out of those doors down on that end, our commons area is down there, and utilize the courtyard. Now, as you can see, there are classrooms around the outside, on that side, the south side of the courtyard. So we try to avoid that as much as possible. But for the rest of the courtyard, you're able to use that, whether it's the picnic tables or the benches or anything else like that. And if we get to that point where it's okay and you guys can handle the responsibility, there may even be the chance to eat out here from time to time. Classwork wise, I know some of the teachers love to come out here when the weather's nice and meet out here in their classes, so there's always a possibility of that also. One of the questions we get about the courtyard from time to time is getting stuck in here. No one can ever get stuck in the courtyard. There's always exits, and those are all marked. And the other thing that we like to mention about the courtyard is, and this is one of our tougher adjustments, is the courtyard is not a playground. It kind of looks like an American Ninja Warrior setup, and you can run around and jump and do all kinds of great things. But those stones are hard, those edges are sharp, and we like to keep as many people out of the nurse's office as possible. So when we're out here, it's more of a laid-back atmosphere, but it's definitely nice to get out here on a warm day. All right, so at this point, we've been to the Commons in the morning after you've been dropped off either at the front door or from the buses. You'll come up our teaching stairs when you've been released by the ladies in the Commons at about roughly 7:50 or so, and we'll work our way upstairs. So once we get to the top of the steps, we're going to get ourselves into the 6th grade hallway. As we go down the hallway here, we'll show you where some of our classrooms are, so some of your teachers will be, and just kind of show you the ropes up in this part of the building. Understand that as we work our way through this, you're going to have to pardon our mess some, because our custodians are doing a fantastic job of getting in here early and trying to clean up rooms and clean up the booths areas and things like that. So we'll do our best to get through the halls and show you what you can expect. But some of the stuff is obviously going to look a little bit different as we go through when you get here in August, because it's torn apart right now for cleaning. So we're going to work our way into the 6th grade hallway. As you come up the steps, you'll go by your main restroom area, which is over here on my left. Right here to the right is Mrs. Fry's resource room. This is going to be a great place for some of you when you choose to come in and get some extra help. Mrs. Fry does a great job of helping out in some of our classes, and she's also available at different times during the day to help as far as being a resource room and extra place to get some work done.
Before school, lunchtime, anytime during AA.
Awesome.
Here to help you. Hey guys.
As we go down the hallway then, let's take just a second. We'll look and we talked about lockers. When you come in, you'll get assigned, like I said, by your homeroom teachers, you'll be assigned a locker. We have them up top and on the bottom. They are all identical. And as I mentioned in the opening, if you're somebody that maybe is like me and is a little more vertically challenged and you want a lower locker, you can get one. If you're somebody that's a little bit taller and getting down to the lower locker is a problem, we'll get you a top one. The teachers in your homeroom classes will take care of that for you. If you want a lock, you can use one. We don't recommend it. But if you do use a lock, then all you need to do is let either Mrs. Whelan know the combination or make sure that we have a key handy at all times in case we need to get into it. So as we go down the hallway, we have more resource rooms here on the left. At the end of the hall down there is Mrs. Schofter's science class. All of you will have science in her room. Right now, the wall is open between Mrs. Schofter's class and Miss Fowles' class, so it looks a little larger than what it would be, but that'll be her science classroom. And then as we come around the corner, you can edit this out. As you make the turn here, your social studies class and Mrs. Kepler are right here on your right. Mrs. Luce and Mrs. Sanders' English class is right there down the hall. And then this is Mrs. Schofter. Back to our left here is Mrs. Schofter, who is our science teacher.
Welcome to 6th grade science.
All right, right now our upstairs hallway is a disaster, like I said, because we're cleaning. So these booths aren't giving you a very good look. You won't have to be dodging furniture when you come down the hall. So we'll find a spot in the building that shows you the booths just a little bit better and give you a better look at things. This is Mrs. Armitage, another one of our English teachers. Her classroom is right here, right next door to Mrs. Luce. So we've gone from Mrs. Schofter's science to Mrs. Kepler's social studies, Mrs. Luce's English class to Mrs. Armitage's English class. And then we're going to work our way down to and by our 2 math classrooms.
Hi, I'm Mr. Schmidt. I teach 6th grade math, and hopefully I'll see you in the fall.
Right here, Mr. Schmidt's class, because of graduation, we open up these rooms up here. Now it's a little bit different this year, obviously, but Mr. Schmidt's math classroom is right next to Mrs. Collins and Mrs. Will. in their math classroom, and we'll go down here in just a second too and see that. Normally the partition would be shut. This is a good look at our garage doors. If any of you have been in the building before, you probably noticed these garage doors. We went by some closed ones before. Depending on what the teachers want to do, depending on the lesson, they may open the garage door and get you out into the booths and do some group work and some collaboration like that. Garage doors may be closed on the days where we need to have them closed, but it gives us a lot of versatility with that. All right, and then this is Mrs. Collins' room. This is Mrs. Will, who helps Mrs. Collins. Mrs. Collins wasn't able to be with us today, so she's standing in for both people.
What's going on?
Looking forward to seeing you in the fall.
Hey everybody, Mrs. Luce, teach English, language arts, reading. Can't wait to see you next year. Hope you have a great summer.
I'm Mrs. Fry. I'm the resource teacher. I'll be available before school, during lunchtime, and during AA if you want some one-on-one help, and I will be in and out of a few of the 6th grade classrooms as an extra teacher.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Will. I co-teach with Mrs. Collins. I'm the math intervention specialist, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the 6th grade.
I'm Mrs. Armitage. I teach reading and English and looking forward to seeing you guys in the fall.
Hello, I'm Mr. Schmidt. I teach 6th grade math, and hopefully I'll see you in the fall.
I'm Mrs. Schofter, and I'm the science teacher, and I have a great lab in the school. So excited to see you all come in the fall and have some fun in science.
I'm Mrs. Kepler. I'm your 6th grade social studies teacher and looking forward to seeing you in August.
Okay, we've moved down the hall from the 6th grade wing and we are in the library. The library is on the 2nd floor, down past Mrs. Collins' room, who we introduced you to, down past Mrs. Wise, who is an 8th grade math teacher, and it's a great facility. Mrs. Bible, who's here with me, is going to tell you a couple of things about the library, but we hope that you get in here a lot. You'll come in with your English classes, but we hope you use this as a great resource during your time.
Hello everyone. So as 6th graders, you'll come to the library once a week with your English class to get books. It is a similar thing. You can get 3 books, check out 3 books at a time. The other thing is, if you have any computer problems whatsoever with your Chromebooks, this is the place to come. We have a tech team of high school students that actually do repairs on the Chromebooks. So Chromebooks or books, this is the place to come.
All right, during academic assist time, if you are in band, choir, or orchestra, and at this point, some of you are in band and orchestra, some of you will want to sign up for choir when you get here. We'll do that when you get to school in the fall. You'll come through the commons area that we've toured, and you're going to enter these doors which take you back through the music part of the building. When we go back here, if you come around the corner, we'll see that we've got our orchestra room and our band room, but we've also got individual rooms that you'll see that are called practice rooms. And we've got some things that are stacked up in the way right now, but I know all of our instructors, Mr. Gordon, Mr. Lupo, and Mr. Paul, love these practice rooms. Excuse me, and you get a chance to see those here. You may get the opportunity to use those from time to time. Oh, hi. you're still with me. That's good to see. As you can see, I have no musical ability. I'm pretty sure this isn't a guitar, and if it was, I couldn't play it anyway. But we're in the orchestra room, which is one of the nicest rooms in the building. Our entire music area has been well laid out, well taken care of, and our music instructors do a great job. Don't let my lack of knowledge of anything musical have any kind of hindrance on that. All of our people do a great job. So this is our orchestra room. We'll go out in just a second and check out the band and the choir room. If you're in the band, this is your room and where you will come. If you're in the band and you don't do this, I want to know what's wrong with you. I don't know why you would do anything else. So every day when you're assigned, you'll come down to the band room, you'll see Miss DePaul, and you will get your classes. All right, you call me in the orchestra room. I'm not even going to try to carry a tune in the choir room. But fortunately, we have Mr. Lupo here today. He's in his room working, so he can say hi. This is the choir room, so if you sign up for choir early in the year, this is where you will come every day or on your assigned days. So I'll let Mr. Lupo say hello.
Hey guys, how you doing? Really excited to have you joining us here in 6th grade, especially here at the 612 building. Can't wait for the opportunity to get to work with you in a few short months. So at the beginning of the year, when time comes around for me to come on up and say hello and sign you up for choir, consider singing with me. It's a fantastic time, you learn a lot.
You'll have gym every day for a trimester, and when you do have PE class, you will change clothes. The locker room you will use is right outside the door on the junior high side, or if there's a class at the same time and you need to, you can always use the locker rooms on the other side of the main gym. We're in the smaller auxiliary gym right now, which is where your class will be most likely, but again, it's depending on whatever's open, so that you will have gym every day for a trimester. Okay, at this point, we've seen almost everything that you need to see. There are a few things that are still up in the air. Our health room, we're not sure about which room we're going to use yet. And steam, our steam room's a little bit torn apart. You saw a lot of mess as we went through the building, but you got a pretty good idea of what your day is going to look like. When lunch is over, the last part of your day will be your afternoon classes. You'll come back the long hallway, you'll work your way up the teaching stairs, and you'll finish your day for the last hour and a half upstairs. When the day's over then, for those of you riding the buses, you'll come right back down the steps and go out the event store. Those of you getting picked up will head out the front. As I said in the very beginning, you can see our contact information for me, for Mrs. Rufer, for Mrs. Whelan. You can call the middle school office, 419-636-4536. The middle school is option 2. You can leave a voicemail that will be kicked into our email. We'll be glad to help you out with anything that you're anxious about, anything that you have questions or concerns about, anything that maybe just wasn't clear in the video. Also know that if things go as we hope they do, and we see you all in the fall, physically in the building, we will do our best to schedule a time where we can get this class in the building and see it and alleviate concerns where they can physically be around everything. So stay tuned for more information about things like that. Have a great summer. Hopefully that we're all able to get out and do some things and enjoy the time. And hopefully, again, we see all of your smiling faces come August and we're all back together again.